We need to talk. We're talking about the elections on the 29th of May. Since the month of April is ending, I just want to give my 2 cents. Funa nginikeza 2 cents nam about the elections. All right. So it's gonna be my first time voting. I haven't been voting because I didn't care. I didn't think about it matters. Bengekho apho mentally. I didn't really even care ngento ze politics until I grew up. And I noticed but politics actually do affect impilo yethu on a daily basis. So I'm like, you know what? This year I make a decision. Okay. So I've been trying to go through what is the best. There's my 2 cents. Opposition parties, we're going to start with them. They don't have a plan. They're just opposition parties, according to what I see. Kungati, they're just there to be opposition to ANC. So now I could hate the Secretary General of ANC, and then I'll be like, no, what, I'm gonna start my own party. So I really feel like intentions are not right, and there's they're very either tribalist or they're based on an ideology that is not holistic to the country to the whole country itself. Umzekelo ngalento, there's parties that are specifically for Jewish parties, meaning it doesn't include everyone. There's Christian ones, meaning it doesn't include everyone in South Africa. There's the ones that are very idealistic, meaning they are pushing for a fourth industrial revolution. They are pushing for technology, of which it doesn't include the whole of South Africa, because there's still South Africans that are far behind that need to be pulled for us to be. We can't move forward when people are still behind, is my point. So those people will need to be pulled to a certain place where now they will be able to actually participate in a technological South Africa, if you understand what I mean. So many opposition parties, they come from a specific angle that doesn't target everybody. Now we're going to come and look at the big three: EFF, DA, and the King, ANC. I'm saying the King because it's the one that's reigning right now. So EFF is the most convincing one. EFF is the most convincing one because you're now EFF. They acknowledge the youth of the country. They acknowledge the youth of the country, if which ibaluleke cool. But the problem get EFF from now is that abana experience. They don't have ECV. They don't have a track record. We don't have anywhere to refer. But EFF is actually fit to run the country. As now low reference for EFF, which is why I feel it's going to be a gamble if we do pick EFF. But now, do we trust Julius Malema? And I don't know because his story changes a lot. 1 year he's for this, the other year he's fighting for this, the other year he's changed his tone, he's fighting for this. So because from now he's very inconsistent in messaging yake, I can't then trust when he's the ruling party, when EFF is finally the ruling party, so what they say will be done. The other thing I have in EFF is how they react to izinto. They don't react like, maybe it's because they're still an opposition party. Maybe when they do become the rulers of South Africa, maybe the attitude, their approach, their demeanor is going to change. Because if our government is gonna have a demeanor of people that are still, because John point there's a difference between being an opposition party and being the party that is in power. The way you do things. EFF is good because the way they're doing things right now is good because they're an opposition party, meaning the very aggressive approach to izinto zabo, the very, we're going for it, we're gonna cause chaos, you must hear us. Leo approach, I don't know if it can work for when they are the ruling party, which is why I say Abana track record, I don't have a reference to refer. So it's going to be a gamble of which, are we ready to take? I don't know. Are we ready to take? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section if you guys are ready for an EFF South Africa. How that is going to look. Will it cause division in our country in terms of races? Will it bring stability to South Africa? Will it, because putting EFF in power is going to change the direction of the country in terms of they want to nationalize the country, meaning state-owned banks, state-owned everything. Do we trust Gengoku because they come from ANC? They are produced by ANC. Their tagline says "Made in ANC." Do we trust then that the same corruption we've been experiencing with ANC, will we experience it with EFF? These are the questions I have. These are the questions I have. EFF, I like historiseno, I like the way you do things. I like the fact that isn't on your address, you don't brush things under the carpet. I like that. Kodwa, I don't have a CV. And it's very unfair because Natia's youth Kaluba, we apply for jobs and they ask you for 5 years experience when you just arrived. It's the same in EFF. I feel that exact same way. But do we as the youth invest in EFF, as in we back EFF as the youth of South Africa and say, we're backing you, we're going to move forward with you and move into the future and have a 100-year vision of the country, 50-year vision of the country. That would be the best thing to do. If we pick EFF, we must come together and have one vision. That's the way it can work for us, is if we have one vision and we say, okay, the ANC method did not work, ayisebenzelanga, I would then moving to EFF. Okay, xa move to EFF njena, what is the roadmap now? Because you've taken us from the ANC path that we've been moving on for the last 30 years. Jumping ship and going on the EFF train, meaning we're changing rails as a country. All right, we'll circle back to EFF. I just want that to sink in. And then in the ANC, let's go to DA. DA is a no. I was having a conversation izolo with one of my uncles, and he was giving me about saying maybe DA would be a good idea, but the problem I have with DA is like when there's a rat in the house and you work so hard ukukhupha lempuku in the house, right? You work so hard, you have brooms, you're scared. And then now putting back DA is like opening the door. You're reopening the door and saying come back in. Now that rat or Kabul Cooper, it's saying, no, I promise you I've changed. I'm not gonna eat your shoes anymore. I'm not gonna eat your clothes anymore. I'm not gonna eat your groceries anymore. I've changed. Trust me. Trust you? Okay, Fine. Let's give you a benefit of the doubt to get DA. Masjongi, Western Cape, the place you've been ruling forever. Let's look at Western Cape. Western Cape is South Africa's biggest tourist attraction. And if it's not, then it's the attraction that it brings the richest people from all over the world, number one. It's good for tourism, okay, DA. DA has the capacity to run South Africa, njenge ANC. That I agree. The reason why I took out all the other opposition parties, they do not have the capacity to run the country. No matter how much they can promise you, do they have the capacity, do they have the resources, do they have the people, is the problem. So the three parties that actually have the resources, and the EFF I'm not very sure, but let's say three, is EFF, DA and ANC. DA has the resources. DA would elevate our country. It would put us in a very high standard. It would elevate the country. Kunga clean. That I'm very sure of. Kunga clean as Straten. The problem is now, if you take a drone and just drive up Western Cape and look at it from the top view, ujonge the bays, the Cape Towns, and then you look at the Kailichas, the Kukuletus, and then you like, man, something is not right. This is literally what we fought to not have. That's the problem, Kengo DA. Uba, are you going to push away non-white groups now, is the question I have. And you've been losing a lot of your black leaders. For what reason, we don't know. It's very alarming. Why are black leaders leaving your party? Right? And if you're gonna argue about no, even white leaders leave, then but it's the manner in which they leave. Why are they living like that in the first place? Number three, I have about the DA. The problem I have about the DA is that it's a very typically white party. They have that hi, how are you? But you know that smile. You know the smile I'm talking about. You know that smile I'm talking about. The hi, how are you? I'm fine. Yes. Yeah. That smile. Are you doing that to us now because you're fighting for power? Are you gonna keep us in bricks? Or are you gonna take us to the European Union? NATO. Yes, are you gonna take us to NATO? Do you see now the problem with changing parties is that we're going to now have to move off the track we've been moving for the past 30 years and take another train. Where is the train going? We need to have a long-term vision if we do that, because Aizugwenza sense to vote out ANC now. After 4 years, we're bringing them back. We're saying no. We should have, because I have a feeling, Yoba, we won't know what we're missing until it's gone. I'm not saying I'm pro ANC, kodwa the opposition parties are not ready. The fact that we're so pissed off at ANC, since Ibingu Zuma, we've been pissed off at the ANC. Pissed off. But it's still here because there's no better alternative. There's no better alternative. To be honest, now we're going to go to ANC. ANC is the royalty of South Africa. ANC has the rich history. They know what it means to run South Africa. What I wish for ANC to do, hear me out, ANC, hear me out. You cannot be planning ahead when the people that are planning won't be there in the ahead part, because now nizoshia thina stranded with your ideas that didn't work because you were not there to see them out. ANC needs to be cleaned up, is what I think. It needs to be cleaned up. It needs a rebuild. It needs a restructuring. It needs it needs to be cleaned. It needs ukulungiswa and have fresh ideas, fresh people, fresh, ANC, fix yourselves. The thing is, why I say I have very much reasons why ANC should not be running our country for the next years to come. But there's reasons why I think taking out ANC will move us backwards. Are we ready to move backwards to move forward? Nah, is the issue. Because the next people we put in, they won't do much in 4 years. I promise you they won't do much in 4 years. I promise you they won't. Because this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. ANC is in too deep. It's 30 years deep, right? The way our country is would need to do so much. Would need to go back so much if we put in someone new. Are we ready for that? Is our country ready for that? I don't know. Right. ANC has us in the BRICS nations. Nah. Number one. And I see that us being in BRICS gives us a lot of potential in the future. It's good for people coming up. It's good for younger people coming up, because now then we have trade, meaning you can easily get jobs if you go to BRICS countries to apply. Yeah. Number two of why I think ANC should be given a chance in certain conditions. I'm gonna put my conditions. Yeah, is that we're in too deep. ANC is South Africa. I don't think we understand that. It's unimaginable to have a South Africa without ANC. I know it sounds crazy, it sounds crazy, but they've embedded themselves inside our history and our they are in our history. You understand why? That's why I'm saying ANC is South Africa, right? And Ningan Louis, I'm sticking on that, because these guys, they know South Africa because they've been through it all, right? As in the organization. But the people, it's time for you guys to go. Nyani, it's time for you guys to go. Most of you guys are 70 plus. How are you gonna plan for futures that you won't be there for? Give the young people a chance. You're telling me in universities, graduates, there's no one who did political science. You're telling me there's no young person who has the potential. At least pick one person or pick a group. Like, you know how there was the group, the succession of ANC, how there was the whole succession planned out, meaning it was Mandela, Mbeki, Zuma, Cyril. It was a plan. It was a direction. Do that. Pick a group of talented, ambitious, young South Africans that you see fit. And show them. But Nani, you haven't been the example that they need. You haven't been the example that they need. Your corruption is killing us. Yes, bulala. It's weakening our country. It's weakening the mindsets of us as the youth, because now we've developed a thing of quick solutions, because we're living in a country of quick solutions. A country and a corruption. A country a country corners go yo. Meaning it doesn't give us that thing, that resilience that we need. Killing the country. It's a slow poison. Now I'm gonna move to reasons why I think ANC should be out. Number one, it's a slow poison. It's killing us from the inside. It's like loving cake. I know it's a very dead example, but it's like loving cake. But at the same time, it's killing you. But you love the cake. So you're gonna keep eating that cake. You're gonna keep voting. Because you believe that you love the cake so much that maybe it's going to understand that it's hurting you, and it's gonna stop hurting you, and all will be well, and it's going to be la-di-da. Maybe the story of ANC in South Africa's history has come to an end. Maybe we should close the ANC chapter. Maybe we should say thank you, ANC, for taking us from point A to point B. Now it's time for the next person to be handed down. The next organization to be handed down to take us from point B to point C. Maybe it's that. Because I don't see a future in ANC. I don't see a bright future in ANC. Internationally, yes, I see a future in ANC. Internationally, yes, I see a future with ANC. Because the relationships we have internationally are good. And I have a fear that putting someone else in that is not from ANC, that is from another organization, another party, can break those relationships that we have. And we have to start from scratch. That is the issue I have. Are we ready to start from scratch? In the current economical state we're in, are we ready to start from scratch? Already we're in a state where go bad. I might be exaggerating, I don't know, but go bad. Inequality, the margins of inequality. Because don't get me wrong, there's money in South Africa. But at the same time, there's poverty in South Africa. So do you see the extremes? The extremes are crazy. DA definitely is not going to close that gap. It's just going to make it bigger. It's just going to make the pie smaller. It's making the pie smaller. Are we ready for a rebuild? Do we say thank you, ANC, and bring another organization? Or does ANC get themselves together? Get your shit together. Get yourselves together. Start focusing. We're going down. It's a downward trajectory. It's a downward trajectory. Until now, we're looking to you guys to build us a path to walk on for the future. But similar, because there's no path. The path that was there, say gravel, say no potholes, say no. It's a typical South African road. We can't walk on this road because it's filthy. It's been ruined. Instead of pouring into the path that we're supposed to be walking on, you're taking from it. You're taking from our future, putting us in more debt, depreciating our assets more. You've messed up in your ESCOM. Now, somebody smart is going to fight for ESCOM to be privatized. What happens when Eskom is privatized? The rich get richer and the poorer get poorer. So who actually are you fighting for, ANC? Who actually are you fighting for? Because your brand is all about uplifting South Africans. Your brand is about giving South Africans a fair chance. But are you giving us a fair chance? Are the South African youth proud? Are we proud to say we're being led by ANC? You guys were proud. And siyanibonga, no disrespect. Yes, I don't want us to think that because we're so angry at ANC, we don't respect. You've done a lot for the country. We wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for you guys. But nani, and you're not thinking about us and anymore, and it's us anymore. It's like you're doing your own thing. It's like it. This is a perfect example. ANC feels like a billionaires club where you get a seat in ANC, you get tenders, you're good, you make money. What happened to serving the nation? What happened to serving people? Come on, guys, fix yourselves. Get your shit together, because you're our only hope. You can't leave us here. You need to at least put us here so that the next person can then make us fly as a country. If you leave us here, the next person that's going to come in, the next party that's going to come in is going to struggle. And because they have lesser resources than you guys, they're going to go whoop. So my solution, my conclusion is that ANC needs to fix you need to fix yourselves. And you need to show us something in the next month, next 30 days. What the plan is, what is the hope for the future, because you've messed up. You need now to be accountable. There's a time. That's the only thing that can save you guys, is for you guys to be accountable and to say, okay, we've made mistakes, but this is how we intend to go. And then take the next group of leaders, put them forward. We still need experience, yes, we still need that guidance, but we need the new group now. Like how there was the new group that came in 1994. We need that, because Ninangoku is chai. Because now what's going to happen is the ANC brand is going to be destroyed. Okay, enough about ANC. But that is my solution, because I do not see a better future if we bring someone else in. Another thing about EFF in terms of EFF, they are pro-South Africans. They are pro-South Africans. They seem to be putting South Africans first over. They seem to put South Africa first over the private sector or the businesses or the capital. Call it the capital. They seem to be putting South Africans first. But my issue is their demeanor going to change now when they're then in power? Because that's exactly how ANC started. They were the perfect party for us, and then out of nowhere they took a short left. And now we're finding ourselves here. The country's going down. And the way I'm seeing them now, we'll be going to Zimbabwe now, going to look for jobs. Because they're going up. So we need to step up. We need to step up. Now, how are we now going to step up as in ourselves now as South Africans? Now as South Africans, what can we actually do? Ne? This is my solution. Because we need to be real. As much as we have a president, they also have somebody behind them that is controlling the flow of where capital goes. And because we need money to live as a country, then we have to obey by the rules set by the people that give us that money, right? So we've become prisoners to other people because we went to them seeking for help, but they saw a wounded animal that can be taken advantage of, right? Sesilapho situation where sometimes you don't blame the leaders in power because their hands are tied. I mean, look at Cyril. He came into an ANC that was messed up from Zuma. He came into a country that had problems from Zuma. So I really think Cyril didn't have time to implement what he thought would be done in his time. I didn't think he had the chance to do that. I think he came where he had to fix. But it's also not excusable because you were vice president at that time, meaning you were there in the epicenter of all of this. So you must have had a plan of when I win, then what? But it just went. Here's my solution. Because there's already the big white capital, you know, the Stellenbosch, the Uniabas. It's time for us Nathi ke ngoku to have our own black capital. Our own non-predominantly white capital. Our own South African capital, or whatever you want to call it. Our own capital. Where we back each other. What BEE was supposed to do. What BEE was supposed to do. We back each other. We push forward the people that we see have potential. That is the only way we can survive, is to fight fire with fire. If then usiyabona the person in the middle that's supposed to be bringing harmony between the white capital, the big businesses and South Africans, they're messing up. So now do we as South Africans rise up and say, you know what, asisandingi, we don't want you guys, we don't want your capital, we're gonna start from scratch as a country and rebuild our own capital. It will mean going down from crash and having a set curriculum, a set way of teaching that is targeted at a specific goal. Where we say we're gonna build our own capital, we're gonna produce our own raw materials, we're gonna make our own, we're gonna manufacture our own things, we're gonna sell for ourselves and watch the beauty of South Africa come out. Because we have very talented people. We're very talented people in all aspects. But we do not have the resources. We do not have the capital. We do not have the power to express ourselves, to show what we can actually do. Because you have an idea, you go and knock on the white capital's door. What do? They take your paper, they push you out. Or they say no, yeah, unless you know someone there, it's over for you. So now, let's have our own black capital, where if a black child has an idea, you know where to go. We have our own headquarters, we have our own things. We have our own bank, we have our own. But now the issue is we're still South Africans, and the thing about South Africans is we are I see South Africa as the United Kingdoms in South Africa. That's how I see my country. We're different kingdoms with different ideologies, with different beliefs, with different... It's just different people, different kingdoms, different races, different cultures, different religions, different beliefs, different ideologies, different ways of thinking, different everything. We're very different. We're very different people. So it's tough to bring a holistic harmony, but the solution would be to thrive together as one, because what we experienced in the 2010s around the World Cup, that South Africa is still possible. That South Africa is still possible. But we have people, the people in the middle, the ones that are supposed to serve and protect us as a people, are failing us. So it's either they step up or we turn away and do our own thing. When last did you hear of a black successful businessman in the last when last did we have the next big titans in business that are black? When last do we even have, look at the JSE. Look at the JSE. On paper, if you're not South African, on paper, it looks like if you come to South Africa, you're gonna find like white people. I'm not this conversation, please hear me out. It's not about race, it's not about anti-white, but I'm speaking the reality of what it is. Oba, the people that hold the biggest pie in this country, it doesn't make sense. How is it that the smallest group has the bigger slice of the pie? How is it even possible? It's because the people that are supposed to be serving and protecting the people of South Africa from the capital, the big businesses, they're doing a disservice to us as the people of South Africa. You guys better fix yourselves, because I promise you, Tina, Sizonyega. And once it's in Yega, it won't be nice. Because you'll be saying, no, the youth of this country, they're not participating in the economy. Yeah. Because you guys are inviting these people to plant, to invest in our land. What do you think is happening to us? The people that were here in the first place. The room is getting full, and we don't have anything to show for it in our own house. We're basically sleeping in the kitchen as the black South Africans, or the ordinary South Africa. The ordinary South African, I'm sorry. Let me not say black South African, because maybe they are white South Africans that are in the same situation that black South Africans are in. Same with the Indian community and the colored community. It's the same thing. Let me not exclude other people. We're basically, as the normal South African, we're basically in the kitchen. Because what is happening is that now other people are coming into, it's a different type of colonization, because this one is an economical colonization, where now we don't even have a say in our media. We don't even have a say in so many things, because the capital pushes the narrative and we don't have that. And realistically, it's the capital that grows the country. So here's my advice. South Africa has influence internationally. Black South Africans have influence in internationally. Being South African in itself is a brand. Just saying I'm from South Africa is already a brand. We use that to our advantage. Let us use that to advantage. Can we please stop going that side? They must come and fill up F&B. Now I'm speaking to the artists. They must come. If they love our piano so much, they must come and fill up F&B. Because what then happens? Our sisters, they get jobs now. Because F&B is full. Our catering companies are going to have success. Our ordinary people are going to have jobs. Opportunities can be created from just bringing them here. Let's not go to them to Sioba Performela with our sound. They must come. It's like what we're doing. It's like going to someone's house to cook food in their stove and cook for them. They must come to our house, sit in our table, be served by our people, and live and spend their money here. Why are we going there to spend money there? And then when we come back, we didn't benefit South Africa. This is not a time to be selfish as South Africans, because our country needs us. Ngoko. Lenjoba sihlale phansi and cry about it is not going to help. Lenba sihlale phansi and complain. Yes, ANC, yes, ANC. Fine, ANC is a mess. Then what? How can we as individuals now change that? We need to band together as South Africa and make a decision of where are we going? Where are we going? Because now I want to ask you guys the question, where are we going? Because now I don't know. Guys, let us bring them there. We are in a position of power. Please realize that. They are hungry for our creativity, our work. They must come and spend their money here. That is how South Africa grows. That is how South Africa grows. Because now, if they come that side for Uncle Waffle's concert, another talented DJ will have a slot there. Now they've seen her, she gets exposure. Guys, come on. We need to work together. If we're gatekeeping for our own selves, when our own economy is being gatekept from us, how are we supposed to even... We need to change our mindset. We need to change our mindset, because ANC won't save us if they don't get themselves together. And I'm not going to bring kids into this world, into this country, that are going to be suffering. But it needs to change from the top. From the people that are making decisions, the people that promised to serve us and protect us. Yazi, you even put your hand on the Bible and swore that I will. Bye-bye, guys.